Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. In our top story, AFT members expressed their concerns today during an organized demonstration at the St. Croix Central High School. Educators at the high school expressed that the school has limited operations, which include low internet connectivity and no capabilities, they say, to copy assignments and study guides for the students. Further, they say the bathrooms at the school had been reported to be inoperable. Here's more.
Today here at St. Croix Central High School, the teachers and the professional staff is invoking our contractual rights towards a safe school environment. We have some issues that have been going on for over a week now. Actually, it's a systemic issue that's been going on before the Hurricane Irma and Maria hit, which is low water pressure here at the St. Croix Central High School campus. This situation has compromised the bathrooms on campus, so students and teachers and professional staff alike are having some serious issues in terms of the toilets are not being flushed properly. They can't flush. We've had even custodial workers being used to take buckets of water to flush the toilets, but if you can only imagine toilets for a school of over 1,000 students, plus we're sharing the site with John H. Woodson and Elena Christian School. You have an unsanitary condition, the bathrooms are unsanitary, they smell bad, so it's posing a definite unsafe environment towards the professional corps, but especially the students.
Be sure to count on 2. We will continue to follow this information. Now, classes were dismissed early today for the Elena Christian and the John H. Woodson Junior High Schools. The Office of the Insular Superintendent, St. Croix, they informed the public about the dismissal that took place around 1:15 p.m. The Water and Power Authority reported to the St. Croix Central High School campus to address what they say is a low water pressure issue, and work on the campus, they say, will continue through Friday, November 24th. The Education Department says all schools housed at the CHS campus, to include the Central High, Elena Christian Junior High, and John H. Woodson Junior High, will be closed for instruction on Friday, November 24th. Now, all other public schools in the territory will be in session on Friday, November 24th. Government agencies will remain open as well on Friday. In other news, hundreds of medical devices are being donated to the Virgin Islands through FEMA's partnerships with national agencies that advocate and support individuals with disabilities. Local agencies worked with FEMA to ensure that the unmet needs of disabled disaster survivors were documented, and now those survivors are getting the much needed help they deserve. Here's more from News 2's Stephanie Brown.
Durable medical equipment to assist residents with disabilities arrived on St. Croix. The equipment will be provided free of charge thanks to a partnership between the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the organizations Pass It On Center and Friends of Disabled Adults and Children.
It was approximately 17 pallets of durable medical equipment already delivered. Some of those examples of the durable medical equipment would be wheelchairs, walkers, canes. We did have an entire hospital bed that came in, nebulizers, CPAP machines, other breathing assisted machines, glucose meters, and a number of other pieces of equipment.
The much-needed medical equipment that was brought to the island has already been assigned to residents that registered for FEMA assistance.
And we were able to process that information through the Individual Assistance Immediate Needs Task Force in FEMA. And so they made a spreadsheet essentially documenting what each individual needed.
To ensure that the unmet needs of disabled disaster survivors were documented, FEMA partnered with the Virgin Islands Independent Living Center as well as the Disability Center.
So we actually took disability integration advisors, partnered them with disaster survivor assistance employees, and then actually went into the field with like in St. Croix, the director of the Independent Living Center, to the individual's home.
FEMA is still in the process of distributing the supplies. 7 pallets of equipment have been sent to St. Thomas and St. John, and 18 more pallets are on the way to the territory. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, the Dow down, NASDAQ, S&P up. Coming up on News 2, the airports have been busy all this week. We have an update for you about the airport, and a large cruise ship visited Crown Bay. We'll have that and more, as well as the WAPA restoration update coming up. Welcome back. Well, SBA, the Small Business Administration, they announced that they have served over 750 residents in the territory. Now, applicants are being reminded that the SBA recovery centers will be closed tomorrow for Thanksgiving Day. Here's more updates.
We've approved 750 loans for the amount of just over $63 million, and that's for the entire territory. The physical damage disaster loan deadline is December 18th. Very important. We're doing, face-to-face canvassing. We're really embedding in the areas where we are assigned. We are going to be closed for Thanksgiving. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5, so come Friday at 8 a.m., you'll see our smiling faces. Here on St. Croix, we are also located at the old post office in Christiansted. We're at the Cotton Valley Fire Station, and we're also at the Rotary Center West in Fredericksted if you're out west. We also, if you're a business or nonprofit, we have a business recovery center. Same thing, they're going to be off for Thanksgiving, but they'll be back to help businesses and nonprofits at the Business Recovery Center, and that's at Scion Farm, Suite 16.
Now, yesterday's special session called by Governor Kenneth Mabb delayed the legislation proposed by the executive branch. The 32nd legislature decided to table several measures regarding the FEMA Community Disaster Loans, the VI Source Separation Act, and the Fredericksted Revitalization Project. Senate President Myron Jackson, in a press release, expressed his concerns on the exclusion of the legislative branch despite collaborative efforts in support of the governor's $7.5 billion request for federal aid. Governor Mapp responded in saying that postponing action on the important bills on yesterday's agenda puts both people and the economy at unnecessary risk. The Committee of the Whole will reconvene next Wednesday, the 29th of November, with the legislative session to be held on Thursday, 30th of October. The airports have been busy this week, as it normally is during the holiday season, and will be throughout the rest of the holiday. The VI Port Authority's Assistant Executive Director, Damian Cartwright, said the Transportation Security Administration passenger screening area has been temporarily relocated in the Sir Lee King Airport Terminal to begin the process of completely reopening the terminal and resuming normal operations. Passengers will be temporarily screened at the entrance of the pre-clearance area of the King Terminal until additional repairs to the terminal are completed. He said these repairs are expected to be done within 10 days, and normal operations at the Sir Lee King Airport should resume by mid-December 2017. He said this temporary arrangement for screening may impact the flow of passengers. Travelers should arrive 3 to 4 hours prior to their flight to allow time for the passenger screening process. Repairs to the damaged gates and waiting area in the domestic pre-clearance area of the terminal were completed last week, as we reported earlier this week. Meanwhile, Royal Caribbean, they made the announcement in October that it was resuming the calls to St. Thomas on November 10th, following weeks of skipping the island due to hurricane damage. Now, Adventure of the Seas, they marked Royal Caribbean's return to the island, but on Tuesday, the largest cruise ship docked at Crown Bay St. Thomas. Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas returned, bringing 5,479 passengers. In partnership with the government of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Royal Caribbean also has committed to undertaking the complete restoration of Magens Bay. December 1st, they say all scheduled calls to the three islands will operate as planned. Port Authority officials say it was an exciting day as they welcomed over 5,000 passengers and the 2,300 crew aboard the Harmony of the Seas that berthed at the Austin Babe Monsanto Marine Terminal at Crown Bay. This was the first ship to berth at the facility since the two Category 5 hurricanes hit in September. Other cruise ships have already visited the West Indian Company Limited Dock and Haven site and the Ann Abramson Pier since the storm, but this was a first for Crown Bay. The Harmony is the largest passenger ship in the world, surpassing her sister ships, Oasis of the Seas and Allure of the Seas. Viper said cruise docking facilities at the Ann Abramson Marine Facility on St. Croix and the Austin Monsanto Marine Facility on St. Thomas, they are prepared to accept cruise ships. Some of the Crown Bay Center stores were damaged and are being repaired on St. Croix. According to the schedule, the first large cruise line is the Norwegian Gem, and that's set for December 27 in Frederiksted. Cruise ship schedules for Crown Bay and St. Croix under the VI Port Authority have been released, and they are available on Viper's website, and that is www.viport.com. Remember, all cruise schedules are subject to change. They say bring what you can, take what you need. You won't be in the doghouse, but you could be. The Doghouse Pub in St. John and St. Thomas, they normally close during the holiday, this holiday, but they thought what a better way to show their love than to create this spread for customers who have supported them during these hard times. They'll be cooking up 200 servings of turkey, pork, and traditional Thanksgiving sides for free. Here's more from Pedro.
I started a GoFundMe page right after Irma, and the main reason for the page was to collect enough funds to feed the community. I happened to get away between the two storms, so I left directly after Irma. And so I was in the States trying to do my best to raise funds, but by the time I got back, the restaurants giving out free food kind of subsided a little bit. So I was waiting for an opportunity that we can really use and make an impact and feed a lot of different people from all around the island, be it from the States or if they were born here themselves. So it's kind of open to anybody, free of charge. We got about 8 turkeys, 7 pork shoulders. We're doing a bunch of different sides, but we're doing a potluck style. So we encourage everybody, if they could bring a side or dessert, to please bring that along. If they can't cook anything or prepare anything themselves, they can bring some canned goods so we can do kind of like a canned food drive and get those to the local shelters and people in need for the holidays. So, it's just a good way to give back to the community, spend some time with my employees and show everybody what Doghouse is about.
Excited about that, Pedro. Thanks for that. Now, in the spirit of giving, this Thanksgiving, a group of volunteers will be feeding the less fortunate and homeless using the facilities of the Holy Cross Church and St. Mary's School. This effort is done with the help of people island-wide and beyond, they say, including churches, synagogues, mosques, and non-religious persuasions. Organizers plan to serve more than 1,000 meals on Thanksgiving Day. The event coordinator, Leonara Finch, spoke further.
We're partnering with, again, with 10,000 Helpers, along with some community agencies, to provide a Thanksgiving luncheon. Given the post-hurricane recovery and restoration, we just wanted the community to know that as a church family that we care, that our arms are extended to the community, and we want to be thankful to God even in the midst of this hurricane recovery.
Just to go out there today, I'm going to go ahead with the program director, Malik Stradiran, and we will be hand delivering foods to seniors. And also I want to give kudos to Pastor Ezra Modest of Miami, Florida, South Miami, Church of God 7 Days, South Miami. Along with his wonderful congregation, they sent a lot of the food products to us, and they did a community drive and brought it here to St. Croix. So throughout our delivery, we will be also handing out some goodie bags with things they can prepare for their Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, what a great event. Now, just before we move on, just a quick note to our viewers. We would like to wish in advance, of course, a happy Thanksgiving. And please note that NEWS2 will be preempted on Thursday with a special due to the Thanksgiving holiday. But we will be back the following day. Be sure to tune in on Friday at 7 p.m. for the latest in news, weather, and sports. We'll have some information about some eating ideas as well. But first, let's look at the WAPA restoration update for those who are planning to cook up the Thanksgiving meals and waiting for power. Here's the latest restoration update from WAPA.
On St. Croix Tuesday, crews restored service up to Cotton Valley on Feeder 2A, while primary circuits were developed to Point Udall, and reconstruction of those circuits will continue toward the DV Carina Bay Resort and Casino. On Feeder 3A, additional customers were restored to include the Beeston Hill condos. On Feeder 4A, crews are approaching 90% completion of work in Sion Hill. And in Rattan, all poles have been planted, with crews expected to string lines through that community by Friday. Service was restored from the Feeder 4A-5A tie switch to Rogers Laundry and down to Sion Hill. In Barron Spot, restoration is approximately 70% complete, while work has been completed toward the Lorraine intersection. On Feeder 8B, Estate White Bay will be fully energized on Wednesday, while crews are preparing to plant poles in Estate White Lady. Crews have estimated that work in Frederickstead Town is approximately 98% complete. Additional customers were energized on Feeder 10A, and on 6A, customers have been energized from La Grande Princesse to Five Corners. Service was also restored on Feeder 9B in Estate Diamond, Mount Pleasant West, and Constitution Hill. Street lights along portions of Melvin Evans Highway have been restored. On St. John, where just over 1,200 customers have been restored, crews continued work in Glucksburg and a portion of Estate Adrian. Most of the houses in George Simmons Terrace have been re-energized, and the primary circuit from Chocolate Hole to Pond Bay is completed. Crews continue to plant poles in Fish Bay, while work continues towards restoring service to Coral Bay. On St. Thomas, service was restored from the bottom of Donkey Hill to the Seaview Nursing Home on Tuesday and included customers in the area. Crews are continuing to repair power lines toward Hawk Hill. Customers on Scott-Free Road from Solberg to Four Corners and in the area of the Old Mill and Contant were restored. Service was also restored to some additional customers in Santa Maria, Crown Mountain, Estate Pearl, and Surgeon Fry. A primary circuit was energized from Drake Seat to Hull Bay Road, with some customers being restored. Other crews restored service to subbase area businesses and to the VI Supreme Court. Crews will continue to work in subbase over the next 2 to 3 weeks to restore service to Crown Bay Center, Crown Bay Marina, Tropical Shipping, Crowley, MSI, and the Sea Chest. Further to the east, a primary circuit that extends from the Cancrine Junior High School to Villa Olga was energized, which paves the way for service restoration via a submarine cable to Hassel Island. Some customers in Frenchtown were restored on Tuesday, as well as the Palms Court Harborview Hotel. While crews continue to reconstruct primary circuits on Feeder 8B and on the Ridge Road feeder, the work on those circuits on all other St. Thomas feeders is complete.
Thanks for that, John. While dealing with poor hydration, low energy levels, and unhealthy eating habits, that can be a direct result of the hurricanes. Experts say even after the aftermath of storms, there are simple ways to eat healthy, especially now as we prepare for the holidays. Here's more. Feeling sick, tired, dehydrated while cleaning up the yard after the hurricanes? Probably the number one reason may be dehydration. The most important thing is to stay hydrated according to the nutrition experts. This is one tip to always keep in mind, but there are other ways we can continue to eat healthy during this difficult time.
We're all dealing with a lot of issues right now, and trying to eat every 3 to 4 hours to keep our energy levels up, keep our mood up, it is really important. If we go for too long without eating, we feel, sluggish and can be more depressed. So really trying to focus on getting good nutrition in will be very, very helpful in this recovery process.
Carrots and celery have high water content along with their healthful nutrients. Fruits and vegetables are particularly important now. Fruits as well as vegetables will keep you hydrated as you do the cleanup work outdoors.
Like fresh fruits and vegetables such as pineapple, papaya, mango, cucumber, eggplant, let's see what else, sweet potatoes, all of those things do not need refrigeration. So having those options available can sometimes be a good thing just to have on the counter and be readily available.
Don't forget protein to fuel your muscles. If you had to toss your meat and other perishables after Irma, find some canned beans. Rinse them to reduce the sodium. Many foods with long shelf life also have high sodium content, so use those in moderation.
Trying to avoid especially Spam or Vienna sausage, but if you are going to use any canned meats, I would say Also trying to incorporate some beans or lentils as healthier options. You know, if you're doing some kind of meatballs or some kind of dish, you can usually substitute it out with like ground turkey or beef. You can add in beans or lentils for that. But if you're looking at the food label, it's important to look at the sodium or the salt and see if it's less than 140 milligrams per serving. Also, making sure that you wash your canned goods is important as well. You can reduce the salt up to 40%.
Another option, you can invest in some outdoor cooking methods, whether it be a charcoal grill or camp stove. The most important thing is to be together.
If they can't have, you know, traditional Thanksgiving, that's definitely okay. Trying to focus on, you know, having like fresh vegetables and getting some nutrition there. Also, doing like, you know, bean burgers or things outside of the box, doing maybe like some tacos with cauliflower. There's so many different options. You don't necessarily have to have the heavy like Thanksgiving meal every year. Where I think it's most important for us just to be together and support one another at this time.
Great message. Thanks for that, Kendall. We'll stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Good evening, Virgin Islands. I'm your AccuWeather meteorologist, Daji Aswad. Hope everyone is having a great evening. Here's a look at our current satellite. We're kind of in a lull right now here across the Virgin Islands in the middle of this dry patch, and that's where we sit. That moisture and that wet weather is out to the north and west of us, and that's always good to have, not to be worried about any rain. As for a closer look for our current satellite, we're looking at just a few clouds out there passing through, nothing that's going to dampen us for tonight. Here's what it looks like. Partly cloudy, windy out there with a low of 77 degrees. As we take you to tomorrow's forecast, St. John's reaching a high of 85 degrees, partial sunshine and feeling windy. For St. Thomas, also topping off at 85 degrees. Partial sunshine, windy, but with a chance for a shower or two passing over the island. As for St. Croix, partial sunshine, topping off at 87 with a chance for a shower as well. So these showers will be brief in nature, passing over us rather quickly. But the main concern here tonight is that we do have some high winds out there and some high seas. Waves 4 to 6 feet on the Atlantic side, and in some cases up to 8 feet. So we're talking some very choppy waters. Winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots, and we want to let you know on the Atlantic as well as the Caribbean side, small crafts do need to use caution because we do have these windy conditions and high waves out there. On the Caribbean side, 4 to 6 feet. Also here looking to peak that 6 feet and go into 8 feet at times with the winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Any plans for the weekend? It will be windy, so hold on to your hats. We'll see a high of 85 for your Saturday. Sunday not looking too bad with partial sunshine in the upper 80s. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you. Time for our News to Weather picture there by Kiana Pittman, first grader of Lockhart Elementary School, showing some beautiful display of flowers there. Kiana, thank you for that with some raindrops and sunshine. Always welcome both. Send us your News to Weather picture to the address and tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for this edition of News 2. Before we leave, we asked you, our viewers, what you're thankful for Thanksgiving Day, and we're happy to share that with you. I'm Sandra Gumansing. On behalf of all of us here at News 2, you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we will see you on Friday.
Alive and celebrating Thanksgiving with my family and friends. Wake up yourself TV2 again.
Happy Thanksgiving! Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful because this is a time that I think about the years ago when I couldn't walk. Now I'm grateful for my brand new knees. So that's my Thanksgiving.
I'm thankful for life, for family, friends, and everyone else.
I'm thankful for life and for all those that made it through the hurricane. We bless you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving from Via.